Hi, good morning, afternoon, good evening, whatever it might be where you're at. My name is Perry Freeman, and you're watching this video, I'm assuming, because you think you want to be a cop. Well, after 34 years in law enforcement, my father being a cop, my uncle being a cop, my brother's still a cop, I know quite a bit about it. I worked patrol like everybody starts out in. Went from there to working undercover narcotics with some pretty bad people. Did that for quite a while. Left there, went to the training academy as a training instructor. Did that for many years, trained hundreds of cops. Not only did I teach at the training academy, but I taught at the state police academy. And I also taught at community college, all law enforcement related classes and law enforcement post-certified classes. So I know quite a bit about this. After leaving the training academy, I ended up in white-collar crime for a while. I ended up in the fugitive unit. I worked for the district attorney's office as an investigator. Worked with Scotland Yard while I was in the homicide unit. I finished my career in the homicide unit. And worked probably 70, 75 violent murders and hundreds of violent deaths, suicides mostly. So I kind of know quite a bit about this. So if you really want to be a cop, you might want to pay attention. I can tell you some of the good and some of the bad. Let me just say that I trained with or trained some really great cops. 5 different people I trained with or that I trained became chiefs, and one became a sheriff. And I myself became a police chief after I retired from Colorado Springs, where most of my career took place. I moved to a small town and became a chief and was there for about 16 or 17 years. So I've seen both ends of this. Let me just start out by saying that it's now kind of become my mission to help law enforcement. Now that I'm no longer actively out there every day, I want to do all I can for the profession. Like I said, my dad, uncle, brother, lots of friends, still cops. Still care a lot about the profession. Realize that without law enforcement, our country, or any country, would be in total chaos in a matter of hours. So, let's get started, if you're still with me. Let me just put one thing out on the table right from the get-go. It's one word. It's the word truth. If you don't understand that word and are able to live by that word truth, then you might as well click this video off and go watch something else. Because that word truth is what law enforcement is about. You have to live by it, minute by minute. That was told to me the first 30 minutes I was in a police academy many, many years ago. And I tell that to every new cop. I tell it to a lot of cops that have experience because I see them being tempted to exaggerate or change a story maybe or whatever. Well, let's get right to it. So you think you want to be a cop. Let's just go over some of the basic things that you'll need to know. First of all, you'll have to be 21 years of age. Almost every department, every state requires that you be 21 years of age. You're going to need a high school education or a GED at a minimum. You're going to need those, and 21 years of age. You're obviously going to have a clean criminal record, no felonies, no domestic assaults, those type things. DUIs don't look good. College helps. Not necessarily criminal justice classes, but college helps. A 2-year degree is a big help. 4-year degree is great. A big bonus would be ex-military. That way we know that you understand what discipline is, because there's a lot of discipline involved in law enforcement. Now, if you meet those qualifications and you're still listening, let me go into a few maybe negative sides of it. When I applied to Colorado Springs Police Department many, many years ago, there were over 1,000 applicants that tested. The first written test had over 1,000 applicants. There were probably 50, 52 openings for that year. That was a long time ago. Colorado Springs is now at least twice the size it was then, and the police department is 3 times the size it was then. And now, from what I'm hearing, they're only getting 200 to 300 applicants a year. What do you think that is? It's because of what the media has done to law enforcement. Kind of back to that word truth. Maybe some cops made some mistakes. Maybe the media wasn't truthful in portraying what they put on the news about cops and different situations. But regardless, back when I applied, the image of law enforcement was very good. We had a very positive image, let me say. Now, not so much. Everybody has a video camera, everybody has a phone, and you could end up being viral for some mistake you made, intentionally or maybe unintentionally. Maybe because of poor training. But regardless, if you're still thinking you want to be a cop, let me tell you a couple of things. First of all, everything you do as a cop is going to be questioned. It's going to be questioned, obviously, by the people you're dealing with. You never go to a situation that's positive. Every situation has a negative side to it. One side or the other is not happy. You may be questioned by your supervisors for the decisions you make. You're definitely going to be questioned when you get to court by the defense attorneys. And maybe even the prosecutor may not agree with the way you handle things. So, if you're not prepared to be questioned and be able to stand up and articulate why you did things, it's a rough world. Now, let me just go into a couple of things. Maybe you're watching this because watching TV shows like LED or Law Enforcement Live, I think is the name of the show. PD Live, maybe, is the name of the show. Very exciting show, realistic. They have cameras on cops. If that excites you, if your adrenaline starts running and flowing as you watch something like this live police department show, and it's just your adrenaline that's running, you may not be cut out for this. But on the other hand, if you look at what those cops are doing and how they're handling the situations, and you think to yourself, I can do that. Maybe I can do it better. I want to do that. I want to help. Then you're in the right profession. You're going in the right direction. So I would encourage you to think about applying. We'll get to that in just a minute. Now, the fact that we have such a poor image of law enforcement right now is terrible for the profession. Terrible. But it's very good for you if you think that you're cut out for this job, because there's a huge demand for cops. You go to any major city in this country and they are begging for cops. Now, if you apply and you get turned down, many people do, find out what you did wrong, try to improve in that area, go back and test again. Go to a different department and test. Once you become a certified cop, you have job security for the rest of your life. And there's usually a pretty nice retirement that comes along with that. So, job security, very positive part of law enforcement. Taking crap from the public is a very negative part of law enforcement. But if you think you can handle all that, great. Now, so let's go back to Live PD. I watched that show a few times. It's the real thing. Other times I watch drama, TV presentations, and I won't name those right now. Maybe someday we'll talk about some of those shows and some of the ridiculous stuff that I see these actors doing. The way they dress, the way they wear their uniform, things they say. It's not the real world. So don't get caught up in that stuff. Now, I want to help you. Like I said, it's kind of a mission now to help recruit cops. I've recruited a lot of cops. I've trained hundreds of cops. Like I said, some of them became very successful and still are. So if you're still with me and you're still interested, I'd encourage you to stay tuned in, because I've got all of the lessons that I taught in the police academy. In fact, if you will excuse me, I think I have 20-some classes that I taught. Now these are mostly 1 to 3 hour lectures. No one is going to sit here and watch me go through a 2 or 3 hour lecture. But I can condense those, and I will, to the critical issues, the critical parts of those lessons. So, depending on how much interest there is, I'm willing to condense those long, sometimes boring classes. Some of them have to do with the court systems and the Constitution and all that, but others are exciting. They have to do with undercover work, they have to do with patrol, they have to do with traffic investigations, you name it. But I can condense those to where they're maybe 12 to 15 minutes, and hopefully I can keep your attention for that period of time. So if you're interested, I can help you with those lessons to prepare for the testing process. And then when you do get to the police academy, you'll have a little bit of a head start on some of the others, because a lot of the terms, a lot of the concepts will already be in the back of your mind. So I'm planning on doing that. I've got a few of them ready now. Try to get those posted here as soon as possible. So if you really think you want to be a cop, and you want people to spit on you, you want people to swear at you, you want to fight people, you might be the right guy or gal, but it happens. You have to get physical. And let me just end this with maybe the most critical part. No one in the United States, or for the world for that matter, has the authority to detain someone, to basically arrest them and maybe convict them on the spot, and possibly even execute them without a trial. Now, obviously, that's an extreme situation, but no one else has that authority. Look how long the court proceedings go on and on and on in violent murders, etc., before someone is ever put to death or put in prison for life. But you, as a cop, have the authority in very unique situations where you might have to make in split-second decisions, moments, to detain someone and to protect yourself or someone else from serious bodily injury or death. You may have to actually take someone's life. If you're not able to look in the mirror and say, I can do that if I have to, if I'm justified, then you might be in the right profession here. But it's a question I ask everybody that I've ever interviewed for a job. Could you do that if you have to? Can you take a life if you have to? It's a very serious question, obviously. And no one else has that authority but a cop. So, Cop Facts is going to be around for a while. Zebra 56 LLC is my company. So watch for me if you're interested. I think I've got a lot of information. I probably know about as much about this business as anybody. Got to work with Scotland Yard, go to England, London, Liverpool. Murder case, obviously. Got to travel to Mexico. Been all over the country. Was a sworn U.S. Marshal for a while. So, again, not tooting my horn, but I do know what I'm talking about. So, stay tuned, stay safe, and get that application process ready if you think you're ready. Have a good day.